Hello, my name's Summer Shahid. You must be new here considering this is my first video ever. You ever get that feeling when you want to play Roblox but you still want to think and do other things? Well, I have the collection of 3 games for you. The first game that we're starting off today with is Grace. I hope you have fun. See ya. Now I get Grace might be a little too high action and a little too intense for people to really think on while playing, so I suggest an alternative that I personally use when I need to relax and, think about things that are happening in my life. Welcome to parkour. Back in the day, like a few weeks ago, I had a best friend. I called him Hank. That wasn't his actual name, but it's what I called him. And to be honest, I really missed the guy. But we weren't a good fit. He would kind of ignore me a lot, and things weren't always the best. And I decided to change, and I decided to cut him off because I thought that would be better for me. And to be honest, it is. When it comes to people who aren't good for you, although it hurts, it is best to cut them off. Why am I telling you this right now? Well, it's because I need audio for this footage. I don't want you guys to be sitting here just watching this raw footage of me jumping around and doing parkour and stuff. Although I love the game, it is kind of boring without a little bit of something going on in the background, like talking or thoughts or other things. Just as an example for we can do and sit around and listen to while you play this game. Now, why do I like parkour so much? Well, specifically Parkour Reborn. Well, I come from playing parkour, and it was an awesome game, and I loved it, but, it really wasn't it for me, and it required a level of depth and finesse that I wasn't really capable of. So, when they started making Parkour Reborn, you have to imagine I was ecstatic, because it looked a lot like Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which is one of my favorite games of all time. Although you won't really hear people talking about it, it is a really good game, and while not as critically acclaimed as Mirror's Edge, the first game, it is still definitely amazing, and this game takes a lot more inspiration from that than it does anything else. By now, we're like halfway down the tower, halfway there to the end. So, let me drop a little bit more information / lore on you guys. So fun fact about parkour, weapons were supposed to be a thing, yeah. So, there was supposed to be this big glaive thing, and at some point, they decided to drop it, and, they kind of left it alone. But we did get a drop kick. You get it by climbing to the top of a crane. It's a random crane. You'll find it, You'll see it eventually. Now, what makes parkour so good to just play? Well, for me, it's the movement and how smooth it is and how easy it is to do a lot of things. Now, in most games, tech is really, really difficult to perform, and of course, Parkour Reborn has its own share of really super difficult tech, like Wumpies, whatever that is, I don't really get that, but What I can do is this thing I like to call like a pendulum. Now it has an actual name, but it's when you drop down and then grapple, and it sends you flying forward super, 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 super fast. Now, parkour also has a bunch of depth, and it has a bunch of areas to go through. Like this tower that I'm playing on right now is just one of like the 5 that you can climb, and more that's going to be coming sooner or later. I really like parkour, and I think that if you like to sit down and chill, you'll really like it too. But now I should be near the very tip top of the tower, which is honestly one of my favorite spots in the game. This specific tower is called Zephyr. You should go check it out. It's the one with like 2 parts right next to it that goes up super, super, super high. It gives you like the best view of the map in the game. So if you can, you should try and get there. Okay, so in my last talking segment, I might have massively overestimated exactly where I would be by the time of the recording. Yeah, it turns out I'm actually only like halfway through the top of the tower, so I'm sorry about that. But I won't leave you guys alone to just think and rot, while I play the game. Music is really, really important to games, right? And I think Parkour Reborn has a freaking amazing soundtrack, which is part of the reason why I haven't overlaid a lot of this stuff with music. It's because the natural ambiance and music that they have in the game is super neat and complements the gameplay really well. You could definitely add in your own music if you feel like it. I think that it's best to play this game with nothing going on in the background like I do most of the time, and honestly the music kind of helps with my thinking. It helps me get through the things that I need to so that I can get to the end of the day. Me and Hank used to play Parkour Reborn a lot. Racing, running around, doing stuff like that. This was before the race feature was even added, so you can just imagine us tagging each other and going back and forth until we decided that we were done for the day and that, one of us won. But by now, I should actually, for real this time, be at the top of the tower. So I'll see you when I start talking about the next game, because I really like this one. Bye. The last game for today is Something Evil Will Happen. Now, I personally love this game a lot. Well, a lot of people in the Roblox community have mixed feelings about this game. I think it's kind of perfect for the, thinking while you're playing category of games. You don't have to think too much about what you're doing, because most of the time you'll die anyways. But how do you not die? Well, you could use some items, like the Riot Shield, which lets you reflect attacks back at your enemies as long as they're projectiles, or, a dodgeball that you can throw at your enemies to send them flying, or what about an explosive pie that you can hurl at your enemies' faces and make sure they blow up? Or how about some more unique interactions, like throwing a pie at somebody's face and then throwing a ball at it to detonate it early, so that you'll... Okay, I was kind of just saying a whole bunch of nothing there, so, kind of ignore that. I'm going to pull us to the end of the video now, because that's enough of this for today.